I had graduated in 2006 from University of Oklahoma with a master's in business. And, at this time, I think it was around 2016, 2017, I was at ExxonMobil at the time. I was looking to really kind of refresh my college education. It had been, 11, 12 years since I'd been in college, and was, kind of just wanting to do that refresh and make sure that I was kind of up to date on any new occurrences in energy. I got to looking and found colleges were starting to offer certificate programs, which were kind of more consolidated, condensed, right? Programs that would kind of give you this certificate, but take you through like a number of courses to kind of broaden your knowledge. That's when I noticed that Texas A&M offered a similar certificate program, and it was essentially half of a master's degree. So instead of taking the 2-year program to get a full master's degree, which as a working professional I did not want to do, I decided to take the 1-year program and kind of get that refresh of my education that I was looking for. Well, the way that the certificate program worked for me, since I was working full-time, first off, ExxonMobil did pay for it. They had, kind of that as a employee benefit. So that was nice. But of course, I had to dedicate the time. And for me, that was a mixture of both online classes as well as periodically coming and taking classes on campus. I think in total, maybe 3 or 4 of the classes that I took were on campus. Most of the students, from what I recall, were kind of in the master's program, the full 2-year program. But obviously, we had exchange of information. We were in groups and things like that you would typically expect of college classes. One of the aspects of the program that really stood out to me was toward the end, there were a few kind of larger projects that we had to do. There were some options for us to choose, but what I chose to do was to essentially build a chemical manufacturing plant and kind of build it from the ground up, from the investment stage all the way through to the manufacturing part of that. And my background was somewhat in that. I had supported large expansion projects in the past at ExxonMobil. And so that's why my interest was kind of in doing that, because I had some knowledge around it. But I remember that during this time period, my parents had come from Oklahoma to visit me. And I don't know why I agreed to this, because I think this was a shortened time period to get this project completed. But I think I saw my parents maybe for 3 hours that entire week. It was a lot of work for sure. And it was definitely different coming back to college after being, in industry for about 11 or 12 years. I've always felt like, at least for me personally, I was a lifetime student. This program really gave me that opportunity to kind of fulfill that and make sure that I wasn't getting behind. The program kind of provided me an opportunity to get that refresh of my education that I was looking for. The certificate program definitely ended up benefiting my career. I mentioned that I kind of supported projects at ExxonMobil, expansion projects that we were doing. After being through the program and getting my certificate here, I was promoted to senior project advisor and moved to another project. When I completed the certificate program, Jeff had notified me that I believe I was the first one to do so, to complete kind of that certificate program, right? They had the full master's degree students, but as far as the certificate program, I was kind of the first one to complete that. So that was nice to be a trailblazer. At ExxonMobil, there were a lot of individuals who were graduated from Texas A&M. I mean, it's close to Houston. And then I think just the quality of the education that they provide, Exxon's one of the big recruiters for their students. I noticed that a lot of people at Exxon have the Aggie ring. And so I was hoping for that Aggie ring when I got my certificate program, but I'm still waiting on that from Jeff.